that's enough of that intro. Welcome to the studio this evening where we are going to be painting something close to me. A little stretch of beach about 20 miles up the coast from where I live in a town called Cambria. No, the town is up the coast. I don't live there, but the town is called Cambria, California. A beautiful little place. There it is right there. This happens to be Moonstone Beach up in Cambria. And the little, if you can just see on the right hand side there, there are a couple of buildings over there. Those are restaurants and hotels right on the waterfront. There's a lovely little place to go. If you ever make it out to the California coast, you should probably go there because it's fantastic. So, hello to everybody. Natalie, Liza, Tom, Sudike, anybody else who's here, who's just kind of lurking in the background, welcome. As is usual, I have done a quick sketch of that reference photo here, and I'm going to jump right in. While I'm doing that, I'll walk through the fact that I'm using Fabriano Studio paper. I'm back to my old set of paints over here on my right hand side. Let me see if I can straighten that up for you see a little bit. And whoop. And the brushes that I'm going to be using, I'm going to go back to my old standby, my King Art brushes. And I'm not going to do too much to clean my palette here tonight. I did a little test painting of this, and I'm just going to use these same colors, and I'm just going to jump right in and wet the sky and get some blue on here. A little darker, a little richer, a little more saturated really at the top, and a little less so down towards the distant hills there. I'm just going to jump right in and keep talking if that's okay with everybody. I always wonder as I'm doing this, and you guys can jump in and say if you've had similar questions or comments or concerns as you've been painting, but I look at this and I want to paint right down to the next line, in this case these distant hills that are back there. I want to paint right down to those, but I don't really want to paint over top of them. And I'm like, oh no, this is going to be bad if I do that. It's not gonna look good. Something's gonna be a little weird or a little bit off. And then I kind of started thinking about it, and I'm like, why don't I do that? I should actually paint to that more often. I'm gonna do that right now, maybe a little lighter than that. And if these just barely touch, I'm gonna say that's okay. Actually, I should get just a little bit more dampness out of my brush, and it won't run back too much. These hills are way back there. Miles and miles back there. They're, I don't know, something like this. And we're lucky enough to have these mountain ranges right next to the ocean. Pacific Coast, is it Pacific Coast Highway? It's Highway 1. I don't know if that's PCH or not. Runs up here between the mountains and the coastline, from everywhere from where I live. Actually, it's almost everywhere from about Santa Barbara or Gaviota to the south, all the way to almost to Monterey, Santa Cruz. Sorry. Someday I'll figure out how to remember the the towns in California, the cities in California. Someday I'll get that. I've only been here for, 20 years. It'll kick in at some point. There we go. We got some distant hills there. I want to keep them pretty light. I want to keep some of the lightness around the top like that. I'm okay with that looking like that. Natalie, you say you are never sure where to put your skyline either. It's a weird thing. Sometimes it's hard to figure out. I'm kind of moving to the point of thinking, I'm just going to put it on, and however it goes, it's going to be there, and we'll figure it out after that. And then we've got these beautiful cliffs that butt right up against the ocean here. I'm going to use a little bit of a brighter green. This was obviously a picture taken in the springtime. I didn't take this picture, but this was obviously a picture taken in the springtime because it is green, and we don't always have a lot of green here, but we do in this instance, so we can tell. In the summertime, this will dry out. It'll start to turn brown. It doesn't look quite as nice, quite as vibrant, but it has a different beauty all its own. And so there's that. See, I need to look here. How am I painting these? I'm working fairly quickly, and I realize that, but I want to get this first layer of paint on here, and then we can move to the next one. I'm hoping somebody has some watercolor questions or art questions or any kind of questions, really, that we can all kind of talk about here. If anybody has them, throw them out. If nobody has them, I'm going to ask Liza, are you not feeling well? That's a joke. Liza always has great questions. So it's just a little joke. I'm trying to think, do I have anything to report? I do have something to report on this week. I don't have a picture with me. I bought a pad of paper, a pad of watercolor paper at Five Below. Does anybody have Five Below near them? Discount store. Well, I'm painting off the side. Somebody's got to tell me. I found a pad of paper about so great. Liza, you feel great. Good. That my son was like, no, this is great paper. You got to try this out. This is great for watercolors. So I tried it out, and I wasn't feeling it really. The paper it felt like paper from a discount store. That's okay. You know what? It was not expensive, and the expectations were not super high, so I wasn't super disappointed. I don't have the image that I painted here. It's still in the back of my car, but what I do have here in the studio, and as soon as I get this paint on, I'm happy to show you. I have my travel easel here, and I think that's probably more interesting than the actual paper itself. So I will pick that up and show you in just a second here. Natalie, you bought a sketchbook to do mixed media, so I would think that this would do better with mixed media. I just was not impressed with the sizing on the paper. It seemed like, and it's supposed to be 140-pound paper, right? And it's wood pulp paper. I get that. I understand that. I'm willing to work with the limitations of that. I mean, shoot, this paper is partially wood pulp paper too. I don't necessarily have an issue with that, but it just, I don't know, it soaked up the water and wouldn't let it come back out, and I was having trouble with it, and I don't know, I almost gave up. I probably should have given up, but I think I'll stick with my other sketchbook, even though it was well, it wasn't that much more. I think I paid $16 for my other one, which is all cotton, which isn't bad. I use cheap paper to practice mixing and color swatching. Great use for it. Such a great use for cheaper paper. I have a whole I have some paper over here. You see me pull a sheet of paper from this side of my desk over here every now and again. That's usually pretty low grade paper that I've used in the past, and I'm trying to recycle it. I don't want to just throw it away, but I want to do something with it. Now I've got this little bit in here that needs to be a bit greener. Let's put some yellow in there, make it look all nice. Oh, we got so much color in there. Something like that. Okay, now before I do anything else, I'm going to let this dry really quickly. You can see my general layout of things. Hills in the background back here. I've got some trees sketched in here that are going to make a long break between this bright green in the front and the hills in the back, so that's going to be nice. Just a hint of a building here. This is all cliff face, all down through here, a few rocks, and then this water here is going to stay pretty white. And then the walkway that kind of butts up the side. Uncle 60 is here. Hello. I've been preparing wood panels with sealers, then homemade absorbent ground primer, almost 90% ready to give up paper. All in all, it works out okay, but different. Wow, that is interesting. Wow, that's brave. That's braver than I don't know if it's braver than I am, but I would try that and then probably go right back to paper. Let's see. Liza, you said, believe it or not, I have better luck soaking off the sizing of wood pulp paper. It seems to work better then. I got the idea from a YouTube short video. Interesting. And Natalie, you said you made a run to Jerry's on Saturday and picked up a pad of New York Central. Now I do like New York Central paper. I have a giant pad of that. But here, let me show you. Well, let me do this. Here's my original. The top to my original easel. You can see it's well loved, right? I've got some stuff on there, but the corners started to chip off as I tossed it in the car, and it wasn't cut all that well to begin with. This board, you can see, is kind of just stapled. Maybe you can see it's just kind of stapled on there. The only cool part of it is this thing in the center that used to connect to my tripod, and just a board in the back. Here you can just see a separate board in the back that kind of kept it straight and wouldn't let it bend. But I didn't like the chipped edges, so I made this one slightly larger. There's the backing for my tripod right there. This little bit to make sure I've got some strength so it won't bend. And then the front, The front isn't all that exciting. That little bit is, again, the coolest part of the whole thing. I just take it on, I clip it on my tripod, and I actually walk out to wherever I want to paint with it just like that. It seems to work pretty well. I really like it. Let's see, Uncle 60's got everybody talking. Wood panels seem like a real commitment. They do. Liza Suzuki, oh, you're responding. You just soak it for 10 minutes and then rub it down. I don't know if I could do that. Doesn't Liza, doesn't that take like almost all of the sizing off, and then you might as well be painting on like cardboard or heavy cartridge paper or something like that? I mean, that's weird. Natalie says, nice. That won't fit in my plein air fanny pack, though. No, it's a bit big for a fanny pack, admitted. I've got a small car, a compact car, that normally I just toss it in the hatchback area of it and leave it there. And when I head out on the weekends or whatnot, I just grab it and go with it. Uncle 60, I also like using leftover matte board that are primed the same way. You usually have a bunch of 8x10 mattes left over. Oh, that's interesting. So like Uncle 60, like this kind of matte board? Is this what you're talking about? Just like heavier, like super heavy cardstock? Oh, Uncle 60, thank you for the coffee money. Very much appreciated. Thank you. I always do this. This is a sign language. Thank you. Thank you for that. Again, I super appreciated. Yeah, okay. So you have, it's like that. And you're making your own. Oh my God, I can't even imagine. I can imagine doing it. If I were doing it, it would be once to test it. Just want to make sure I'm all dry here, and I'm pretty dry. And now I'm going to start putting in a couple of these trees over here. And I don't really want these to be too perfect by any stretch. I'm just going to drop them in like that. I should tell you, there's a little spot. Actually, I should go out and do a video from that little spot. There's a little spot that I very much enjoy on the way to here, right? On the way up to Moonstone Beach. There's this little tiny place. And when I say little and tiny, I mean little and tiny. This place called Harmony, California. The claimed population of Harmony is 11. I believe there's one family that lives there, and they run a farm there. But it's kind of become a destination. There's a glass blower and a potter and a dairy there. And people go there because it's beautiful, and they get married there. But just the turnoff just before Harmony, which again is about, well, it's a little, yeah, well, I don't know, it's about halfway to this place, maybe a little bit more than halfway. There's a trail that you get off on. You stop at the trailhead, and you park, and you just start walking west, and you walk through these areas that 2 minutes off the road, 2 minutes off the highway. Oh, Harmony's on Google Maps. I like Harmony. But 2 minutes off of the highway, and you think you've gone back in time 100 years. You can't hear the highway. You can't, there's no electrical cords. You don't see, for whatever reason, well, I'm going to say this, and this is going to sound stupid because it's only the times I've been there. I never seem to see any airplanes or hear any other outside noise or anything like that. And you feel like you're, 100 years ago. And you get out to the ocean. The trail goes all the way out to the ocean. And when you get out there, there's nobody around. It's you and water and kelp patties, and you hear the sea lions barking, and you can see the otters diving for food and whatnot, and you literally you feel like you're in a different place, and it's so peaceful and so nice. They have, I don't know, like 3 benches at the end of the road out there, and that's about it. There's not much there. But it's such a wonderful place to go out. My oldest son and I we went last year. We haven't been at all this year because it's been really rainy. But last time we were naming off the different birds as we were walking out there. I think we counted about, 20 different varieties of birds that were out there. Hey, there's Natalie's Cove right there. Now you do have to go. You didn't know there was a cove named after you. Anyway, it's stunningly beautiful. I really should. I should take my pack and head up there and do some painting up there. It's a wonderful, wonderful hike. It's mostly flat, which is nice for a lot of people, right? There's no big hills to climb up or anything like that. So everybody could make the hike. Who was planning the painting retreat last week? We'll all go up there and have our painting retreat up there. I think that would be a nice thing to do. It's so nice. And yes, I'm taking my time. These are trees here. I'm going to put some trunks on these trees a little bit. I'm going to bring this forward just by lightening up a little bit in that hard line. I hope I've waited long enough to get a bit of a hard line there. It's right here where you see it going. There we go. I don't know. I'm going to do this. Sounds like the perfect spot. It is a perfect spot. Well, perfect is a tough word, right? It's a wonderful spot. I'll say that. It's wonderful up there. If you enjoy nature and you like a little bit of a hike, not too much of a hike, anybody who was up there would absolutely fall in love with it. I did. For a meetup. Yes, absolutely. Let's see, and before this gets too dry, if I can drop in a few darks here and there, I'm going to try to do this. Should help to break up the monotony in there a little bit. I might have waited just a little too long here to do that. Oh, I think that was too wet. That's okay. I should have done this just a moment ago. Everything is fixable. That's all right. We'll come back and we'll put another little bit of paint on there. It'll be totally fine. Now something tells me I should paint that roof line of this house first, but I've got this green going, and I just want to paint that on there. Let's see. Liza, I would love a meetup. As a psychic once told me, plan it and it will happen. Yeah. Look, I would love to. I would love to do some more. I'm thinking about asking my my son if some of his friends want to go out and sit down and do some watercolor painting. A couple of them, a couple of them have become followers. I don't know if I told you guys. When I retire from the job I currently have, if my son is still in school, I'm going to apply to be the art teacher at that school. Apparently not everybody thinks he's that great of a teacher. So I'm like, sure, I'll do it. Yeah. That'd be fun. And I got a big yes, do it. If you build it, they will come. Uncle 60, is this a smooth or a coarse texture paper? Great question. This is, so it's a cold press paper. So it's not smooth like a hot press paper, or I'm sorry, like a hot press paper. It's got a little bit of texture. If I hold it up, I think you can see it there. It's going to drop out. Yeah, that color drops into those pockets just a little bit. So you can see just a little bit of the texture of that paper. I would be okay if this paper had a little bit more texture to it, but it's sufficient. It's not a lot, but it's sufficient. Okay, I'm going to grab a little bit of Paynes Gray and a little bit of this burnt umber, and I want a gray brown, okay, which I've gotten, because I'm going to put in a little bit on this walking path here. And it's not new. It's been there for a long time. And even though they try to rehab it every year, it still looks a little war-torn. So, I don't know why I can't speak. It looks a little war-torn. Oh my gosh, I'm totally off the side. I must be sitting in the wrong spot tonight. Like everything is shifted. So I'm going to drop in a little bit of this color just to get this going. That's probably a little bit more than I wanted. Uncle 60, if you want to see the packaging for the paper that I use, I'll grab it in just a second. I've got it right here. Super easy to do, and then you'll see exactly what it is I'm using, and you could probably find other pictures of it online. I think it's fairly common. I don't know too many people that use it, but it's by a big manufacturer. I would suspect it gets plenty of use. So other people would talk about it. There we go. There's my little trail, my little boardwalk, I guess. Let's see. Let's see. Liza, you believe in action. Natalie, you only had one nap today. I didn't even get a nap today. I'm jealous. Whoops. Come here. This is the paper. I'm gonna put it sideways so you can see it. This is it. Fabriano Studio watercolor paper, cold pressed, right? 25% cotton. That means 75% wood pulp. I don't know if this matters. Made in Italy, acid free, whatever. Anyway, this is it. If you see it and it's blue, it's cold press. If you see it and it's orange here, it's hot press, which is super smooth. I have some of that also. I don't know what color the rough paper is. That's a good question. I don't think I have any Fabriano rough paper, but it would be there. It would be something similar to that. Let's see. I'm gonna grab some of this burnt umber and a little bit of yellow ochre, and I'm gonna make a light wash. And I'm gonna start painting in some of these cliffs back here. Oh, let's see. How do these go? I'll just start and put them on. I have a whole bunch of pictures of the shoreline. At one point in time, I was going to paint all these different pictures of the shoreline. And once you get north of the town I live in, and north of the next town, which is Cayucos, once you get north of that, the whole shoreline looks similar for like 15 miles, 10 miles probably. So I used to go out there years ago, before Natalie got me back into plein air painting. And I'd go out there and I'd try to paint the shoreline. And I'd come home and I'd look at it and I'd be like, this looks like every other picture I've painted of the shoreline. Because it is. It's very similar. It's a lot of, I guess it's sandstone has been compressed over the years. A lot of it. And it just slowly is being eaten away and eaten away. Our recent storms really did some damage on it. Uh-oh, we're talking about good deals people have gotten in the grocery store. I missed something in the conversation here. The only thing, I'm going to get in on the grocery store talk. The only thing I've gotten at the grocery store in a long time is what I'm drinking down here, which I think is fantastic, is Italian soda. Does anybody drink Italian soda? Has anybody ever heard of Italian soda? I don't really know. I'm still not necessarily convinced it's a thing, but I didn't know what Italian soda was. But it was a blood orange flavor, and I wanted to try it, and I grabbed it, and it's fantastic. And so I keep buying them because they taste so good. I'm going to get a drink of it right now because my throat is starting to get a little parched. Blood orange Italian soda. Really good. Okay. What do we need to talk about? I'm gonna really lightly. I'm gonna say really lightly. For me, this is gonna be super light. Look at all the water I'm putting on here. I never blend my paints down this much. Super light on some water here. This is all, this is probably taken after a springtime storm. And it's just all white water up here. Oh, I know what I could talk about. Michael and chat, should I buy a tube of Paynes Gray? Who makes it? I'm gonna be a contrarian to whatever anybody says, and I'm gonna say no. I'm totally saying no. Love Paynes Gray. It's great. But you know what? You can mix your own gray. And it'll be fantastic. And as long as you're not doing a painting in front of a group of people and you don't have a time crunch, you can do it. All right, here's what we got so far. Let's see. I know what I need to do. Okay, I know what I need to do. I've got these few buildings here that I need to put a little bit of color on. And then we're kind of halfway between being done and not. Something like that. Let's see. Roof color. Let's give them like a roof tile. A tile roof. That's like a terracotta color. So for me, terracotta, a little bit of Maroon Perylene. There it is. I knew that word was in there. It just didn't want to come out. A little bit of Maroon Perylene and a little bit of burnt umber. We've got an instant terracotta roof. Just about like that. Shoot, let's give this one 1, 2, and a little bit back there. I don't know, let's vary the color. Going back here. Actually, let's give it a little bit more red of a pop back here. Let's give this a little bit of a pop of color. Maybe a little poppier than that. It wasn't quite what I was looking for. We'll just go all the way across there. All right, so we've got some nameless houses back there. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're fine. Michael uses it a lot, but you can mix your own. I used it a lot because I'm in a hurry, but honestly, you can mix your own gray, and it's so much better. Eliza, you've got Maroon Perylene, you don't know what to do with it. I was with you on that for a long time, but the best thing I do with my Maroon Perylene is mix it with something else. Seriously. Maroon Perylene loves to be mixed with something else. It's like alizarin crimson. Alizarin crimson is so strong, right? You almost don't dare use it on its own. But if you mix it with something else, it's lovely. Same thing with the phthalos. Right? I love the phthalos. But I almost don't dare use them alone because they're so strong. They're such an overpowering color that if you use them just by themselves, holy cow, you're gonna end up with something that is, well, overpowering. But when you mix it with other colors, it really settles down and really plays quite nicely. I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing as I'm jabbering away. Is I'm trying to give a little bit of shape to these trees, these distant trees here. Just a little bit of shape to them. Just adding a few darks here and there to try to give some form to them. See, this has more of this green in it. And I think I overdid my color saturation just a little bit, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll just add this little bit of color. Everything is going to work out. Half of watercolors is excuse me, half of watercolors is not knowing exactly what you did to cause an issue. It's knowing how to fix it once you've done it wrong. And yes, I'm using wrong in jest. There's a million different ways to do things. I try not to say too much is too right and too much is too wrong, because half the time you do something that you think is, I'm going to use this in quotes, wrong, and then all of a sudden 2 minutes later, you make a brush stroke and you go, oh, you know what? That looks fantastic. That's really good. I'm glad I did it that way. So, right and wrong, kind of not strictly naughty words, but maybe not the words we're striving for here. But these trees should kind of look like they're extending back a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. And like I said, maybe I got a little heavy-handed with the color back here. If I can lift a little bit of that out, maybe. A little heavy-handed with it. But I don't think it's too bad. All right, and these trees just kind of extend off down the coastline, or up the coastline. I guess this is actually up the coastline that way. Let's see. Liza says, thank you very much. You're going to experiment with my suggestions tomorrow. Like, Right? Let's do this, Liza. Right, Maroon Perylene. Look at this color. That's a bright, crazy. I mean, it's not inherently a bright color, but when that dries, it's not going to lose that intensity. Right? It's very similar, although just a bit browner, to Alizarin Crimson. Right? And they are both bold colors. So let's let these dry, and you'll see that as this dries, you get a little bit more red pop on it than you think would be there. But if we take that, let's do it. Can I set this down? I can set that down. And we mix it with Ultramarine Blue. Right, let's take our ultramarine and we'll work back up. Then you're going to get this really cool kind of purpley color. Right, it's going to be a little grayed down, honestly, because there's a little bit of brown in that red, and the brown and the blue are going to gray themselves out a little bit. Right, now here's our Maroon Perylene, and let's take some Gamboge here. I could have started a little closer than that. And look at the beautiful orange that we're going to get out of the center of that where they cross. It's wonderful, wonderful. Let's do one more. Well, one more. What's the other color I'm going to do here? Let's see if we can get, let's see what it looks like with Phthalo Green. See if we can get a nice gray out of this. So I'll start this one a little closer. Push this up. Oh, maybe that phthalo's a little stronger than I thought it was going to be. The answer to that, a little more maroon. There we go. A nice warm gray that you can't see because it's being reflected. Looks all right. Here we go. There you go. Look at this. Look at the interest in that purple now. Come on. Right where you mix it there, and the oranges in the center of this, right? Gamboge pretty yellow, up here pretty red, but look in the center third there. Some beautiful oranges. And then here in the center, it should gray down. I've used these two colors together many, many times. And they really do, if you get them right, they do make a nice gray in the center. Now, I will admit, I don't typically mix them on the page like this, especially to get that brown gray or gray brown here. I'll do them on my palette. But let's let this dry. We'll come right back to that. You can see what they look like when they're done. I love the question, though. Anna Petty is here. Michael, hello, hello, hello. Didn't I see somebody else was here too? Mary Ellen is back. Mary Ellen, hello. You're not late. You're right on time. We're just starting some of the rocks here in the bay. Oh, that's what I was going to say to you all. It is... Yeah, as I say, that's what I'm going to say, and then all of a sudden I forget what I'm going to say. It is migration season. It's the early part of it, but it's migration season here in California. The whales are migrating up and down the coast, and we are lucky enough to have in our bay, for the time being, a gray whale that has stopped to see us. I personally haven't seen the gray whale. I went out on a walk on Saturday to find it. I don't know if it's a him or a her. I don't even know how you tell with a whale. But I went out. I walked down to the bay, all the way out to the harbor mouth, to try and find this whale. Nowhere in sight, but there are tons of videos of this whale swimming around in the bay here, just looking for food, I guess. I don't know. It's not all that deep. Wait a minute. Uncle 60 has another question. Let me look back. Uncle 60, you ever worry about granulation effect with watercolor paint? Do I worry about granulation? Not with these paints. My purple here will granulate. Let's see if I can do this. I'm painting this on B paper, which is fairly smooth, so if you don't get to see too much of it, it's not my fault, it's the paper. And then my Cobalt Green should granulate a bit. So let's let those sit and they'll start to dry. Actually, you can kind of see it already happening here with my purple. But for the most part, I don't worry about it with these paints, the M-gram paints that I used. And I kind of have chosen them because they don't granulate too much. A little bit, but not too much. Other paint sets that I have granulate a great deal more, like the Daniel Smiths that I used last week, have a pretty high granulation, and I worry about it much more with those than I do with these. But even then, I don't worry about it too much. I really don't. It's part of the process. To me, it's part of the process. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I would prefer it not to lots of times, but I'm not going to stop it from granulating, because that's kind of one of the things that makes watercolors cool, you know, in my opinion, is the fact that you get these different washes and different bits of granulation and you know, whatnot, or these different effects, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You get these different effects, and those effects kind of add to the coolness, the watercoloriness of your painting. So the fact that it's got some granulation in it wouldn't bother me too much. I even, let's see, I like to get granulation happen as it will according to the pigment properties, or I like to let granulation happen. Yeah, Natalie, I'm with you. Liza, you're hoping I'm going to get to see the whale. I do see lots of whales out here, but it's interesting to have it in the harbor, like a stone's throw from you, literally. Liza, you even use granulation medium on rough paper. And Sherry, you use salt. Now that's, to me, that's pretty brave. I don't use salt, so I have, but I don't. So to me, that's pretty brave. And if I were to use, well, but I would use salt a lot more for texture, right, than granulation. And I guess I kind of define them a little bit differently. Your granulation is just something that the paint does, and you can get some texture from it. But I think the texture for me would come in when whoops, I'm off again. When I'm looking for something specific to happen, right? I'm going to use salt in a water scene because I think it's going to give the water a little extra dimension to it. Sherry, you just like to paint. That's a funny way to say it. Okay, let's get back here. So let's see, what do we have? All right, so you can see my purple has granulated a little bit. My green, not quite as much as I had hoped. And then these are dry enough. You can see in here, right, there's a little bit of brown in here. If I had mixed this blue with the alizarin crimson, you'd get a much more vibrant purple. But this is a little bit of a gray from the brown that's in here with that. But a lovely purple tint in here. You mix it with the yellow. I love the range of oranges that are in here for that. And then we have some nice grays in here that have come from this. So all in all, a successful experiment. And yeah, see, this almost has like some pinkness to it. It's like brown and pink together almost. This one, that's quite red. But this has a bunch of pink, and you don't necessarily think that's going to be like that when you put it on the paper. All right, let's see. I'm going to get a little smaller brush because I'm going to start to try to add a little bit of dimension to the beach here, or these cliff sides. Right, I'm just going to do that with a little bit of gradual, small. It doesn't need to be anything big. Let's see. Let's do one here. Let's say that comes down that way. Just a little color change. That should maybe be a little different value. And I'm going to blend this way out. Let that color run out. There we go. And so I want to start adding some dimension to this. If we can get a number of layers going in here, then we can really start to give some more depth to this. All the way back here, that's got to be, actually I could add quite a bit of blue to it back there. There we go. Blue, that should help to push that whole area back. That little bit of blue in there. Come on, get back there. There you go. I changed the orientation of my palette over here. It was turned the other way. I was getting these big puddles of water built up on the edges of it, and I didn't like it. And so I kind of have decided I'm going to try my palette this direction and see if I can control the water, some of this water from just, you know, running down to the bottom. Uh-oh. What is happening? I see Natalie said posted on Discord somebody wants to see something. That means something good has happened. Let's see. Michael, would you consider doing a Wednesday night for color mixing exclusively? Yeah, I would do that. I'd consider that. I actually have on a list here somewhere of questions about things you guys want to see. See me paint. I would consider a Wednesday night, what would you call that? A mixathon, I guess, is the right word. I have on there Brusho. If you guys have any interest in seeing Brusho, I think Brusho would be an interesting thing. I'm just not sure I have enough to do an entire hour of Brusho. Let's see, Michael, would you consider doing oh, I just read that. Yeah, I was camping in a lake and did some plein air painting. I'm addicted now. Yay! That's good. I have rediscovered plein air painting, and I'm still blaming that on Natalie. Thank you, Natalie. I mean that in only the best way. It's fun. I just put my headphones on and head out and sit down, and if somebody wants to say something to me, I normally, or sometimes anyways, take them off and say hello and tell everybody what I'm doing. And if they don't want to talk to me, then that's fine too. They can watch what I'm doing. I don't have a problem with that. Let's see, that's kind of where the water line is in there. Let's see, I kind of missed here. Something like that. Is this starting to look like anything? I think it's starting. I think it's getting there. Do some Brusho. Do some Brusho. I will. I'll do some Brusho. Brusho is hard. Brusho is so hard. It's weird. First of all, it's it's that weird thing because, you know, with normal watercolors, you're just getting used to not having the control to what you're doing, and then Brusho really takes that to another level. It's something else. But I'm happy to pull them out and do some demos and try to put a actual painting together with some Brusho. It'll be fun. I'll do that. Is there anything else you guys want to see me paint? You've seen me paint California here about 1 million times. You've seen me paint birds before. What else? What else can I put? Food? It certainly is. Anyone in Arizona want to go to the Boyce Thompson Arboretum? I use watercolor paint on the sketchbook and don't leak through. I have so much fun playing and experimenting. It's definitely helpful. It is definitely helpful. You learn to roll with the punches a little bit when you're doing plein air. You know, everything in the studio is just so. Everything is just right, and you have a lot more control of everything. And then you get out and you start doing some plein air painting, and you're like, holy cow, I have no control. The paint is going to do exactly what it wants to do. The sun is shining down on me. I've only got 30 seconds to get this right. I got one shot. People are looking at me. You know, there's a million excuses on why it's harder. And it is. But I think once you kind of come to terms with some of that, then you also get a lot better. Make lots of mistakes and fix them. Sasha, hello. Psycho Alexander, you're Russian and now live in Uzbekistan. Well, welcome. Welcome. I hope you like watercolor painting too. We're all big watercolor painting fans. So if you like watercolors, you've come to the right place. We're all pretty nice here. If you have any questions about anything, Sasha, throw them out there. Tracy's here too. Tracy, welcome, welcome, welcome. Tracy Perkins, good to see you. Okay, let's see. I'm going to move on. So I've got a lot done back there. I'm kind of happy with where it's at. I'm not ecstatic about it, but I'm not disappointed either. But I think if I can get the front half of this right, I think we're going to end up with something that's pretty spectacular. So let's see how we can do this. I'm going to start over here. All right. I'm imagining this as the little downside of a hill here. Right. So a little bit of dark over here. Maybe we can push this a little bit more. And here's where we can kind of let loose a little bit and have some fun with the colors and let the colors do some color things, right? Try not to control them too much. Tracy, if you have any questions or any any questions really about anything, paint, groceries, paper, whatever it is, throw them out there. I think some or all of us will try to answer it. Like I said, I think everybody in this group is super friendly, super nice. If you like watercolors, I will do whatever I can to help you learn or understand more of watercolors. I have this deep seated need because in my watercolor journey, I've gotten so much help along the way that I want to give back to people to help them. You know, if I could help somebody be a better painter, I think that's a bonus. But if I can ease your tension about painting and help you enjoy your painting that much more, I think my job is just as much done. So if you have questions or you want to share stories or you want to hear some horror stories from me about things, because misery loves company, I'm happy to talk about those types of things. I'll tell you all my all my good stories and all my bad stories. They're all just stories. They're all part of the journey along the way, and I don't mind telling them. Sometimes if I start, you might have to tell me just to be quiet. You've you've had enough of that story. And if I hit a pause, you might have to give me a little break, because sometimes painting and talking and reading is difficult. Let's see, Sasha, thank you very much. I'm sorry, my English is not so good. That's fine. That's fine. And Tracy, you love watercolors. Sudike says, be careful. By the end of this stream, you will want to buy more watercolors. That is almost a given. We will talk you into buying more colors. More paints, more manufacturers of paints. Not because we want anybody to spend any money, but because we've had some enjoyment with it, and we want everybody else to share in our enjoyment. And one of the ways that we do that is by inviting people to share through their love of paint, through their love of pigment. And I think that's a lovely sentiment. I really do. Okay. Just darkening up a little in here. These are a couple of old boards that are there. Not exactly sure how they made it here, but they did nonetheless. So this whole thing, all of a sudden I put this color on here, and look, it pulled this whole thing right forward. It just came whoop right towards us. All of a sudden, this gap got a little bit bigger. Let's see. Wait, Tracy has a YouTube channel. Wait. Tracy has a... Tracy, put your channel in chat. I hope you can do that. You should be able to do that. Michael, Liza, Michael, I have a great brain because you can. Oh yeah, yeah. I have a great brain because I can multitask like a rock star and make this slightest lines I've ever seen effortless. I don't know about any of that. I don't know about any of that. I can vaguely dip my paint into, or dip my brush. See, now I can't even talk anymore. Dip my brush into some water and roughly get it on the page somehow. Although now, now that I know there's a fellow YouTuber in here. Now I have to up my game. I have to take a look. I'm going to feel inadequate when I look at Tracy's stuff. I know. That's okay. I've given up a long time ago trying to best other people at stuff like this. You know what? It's all good. That's why, Tracy, if you haven't, put your channel out there. If you don't, that's fine too. I'll back off that, but put it out there. Certainly, everybody in this channel will probably go and check it out to get you some extra views on your channel, and they may mention you on other channels too. Let's see. Uncle 60 said, painting idea. A blowing in the wind U.S. flag or a pirate ship, the USS Los Angeles ship. Okay, a pirate ship or a naval ship. All right, I'm going to write that down. Let's see. pirate ship or some kind of naval ship. The only problem with a naval ship, or flag too. You said flag too. Flag. Flag, I might hold off until maybe like 4th of July or something like that to do. Might be more apt then. But I like the ideas. Totally like the ideas. And I forgot what I was going to say. The only thing I worry about doing a naval ship, I had a friend who did a naval ship. Brett Wynn. Brett has a YouTube channel, but he only does shorts. And I wish he would do more than that. But Brett's a retired Navy veteran, and he had a commission to paint a naval ship, and I don't recall which ship it was. And he tried with different tones of gray. It had yellow, and it had blue, and it had orange, and it had all these different colors in it, and I kept looking at it going, oh my God, it's gray. But that's a good challenge, though, right? It's a good challenge. I like that. I've done airplanes before, so yeah, why not? We can give it a try. Let's see, a line here and there. Don't need to do all of these lines. I do need to do some of them. I don't know. Real light there. Does that look like a trail? like a boardwalk? A boardwalk. Oh, yeah. Landscape of the Midwest or Great Plains. Okay. Great Plains. Great Plains. All right, let me put that down. Like amber waves of grain. Is that what we're talking about? Okay, let's see what I can do here. We've got I actually put a person in here. How often do I put people in a painting? Not very often. I want to try to do this. Let's see. I've seen other people do this. A little red, whatever this red is, a little yellow. Should give me a bit of a skin tone. Close. While I'm waiting, I don't want to paint over top of that too quickly. What I want to do is come back into my blue over here and just ever so subtly darken this up and just give some little indications of wavelets. Believe it or not, right? Believe it or not, gummies. You should drink scotch and try to paint in an hour. So a long time ago, right? I live deep in the heart of California wine country. I've got to drive past. I live 13 miles from my work, and there are vineyards on, I don't know, 7 or 8 of those 13 miles that I've got to drive. Lots of vineyards here. right? Some of the best wine in the United States, not all of it, some of it though, is grown here. And at one point in time, I tried to do something on a Saturday night called Wine and Watercolor. And it never took off. I don't know why. I couldn't really get a whole lot of people to come to it. So I quickly stopped that. But I'm going to put Scotch / bourbon on my list of things to paint. Let's see. Mary Ellen has said spring flowers are blooming, dogwood trees, and azaleas. Dogwoods and azaleas. Okay, dogwoods and azaleas. I'm with you on that. Oh, you know what I'm looking for? I'm going to cheat here, and this is something everybody else should do to cheat too. I've got these posts I need to paint, right? I'm gonna paint it with this little tiny flat brush. How about that? So let's see. Now I talked about making my own gray. So you know what? Watch this. I'm gonna make my own gray. Liza, here we go. This one's for you. A little bit of ultramarine, a little bit of burnt umber. We've got a beautiful gray right here. And because I need some straight lines, I can use this flat brush and make these beautiful straight lines. Here too, straight, 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 straight. I'll do all of them straight this way. Then I'll reload and I'll do some straight this way. And then we'll let these dry a little bit and we will... What am I trying to say? We'll... it's either too late or I'm too tired or something else is going on. We'll make these look round. How's that? I don't know what I'm trying to say. We'll definitely make these look round. Where's that blue? Let's get that in there. I'm going to do the same thing on this side of the walkway here. Right? That should have some color on that. A little bit of color here. Come on. Something like that. Wait. You used to give your kids echinacea in applesauce. That's interesting. Let's see, Sherry, you've been painting dogwood flowers. It's a provincial flower in British Columbia. Eliza, your mom gave you blackberry brandy. You're all stocked up with coats. I grew up and we didn't have any of that. We didn't have any kind of alcohol like that in our house. But all my friends, when they grew up, their parents were like, you can have one shot of bourbon before you go to bed. That'll clear your head up. You'll be able to sleep and you'll wake up in the morning and it's fine. Any more than that and it's not medicinal. Let's see. She also made us take liquid vitamins that look like snot. Oh, Eliza, you... Oh, gummies. Did I write gummies down? I didn't write gummies down. Gummies. You can paint some gummies. All right, how are we doing here? Let's do this. Let me get my ultramarine, a bit of burnt umber. Let's hope we're just one's a little tough there. There we go. Look, oh, we've got some shadows on there. We didn't have to do anything. All we did was touch it. I'm just going to pull the edge of this out because I can't have a hard edge just because I'm me. I've got just barely any water on here, and I'm just touching the edge to smooth that just a little bit. I'm going to give the woman on the beach down here, I'm up in that picture. This is a woman. I'm going to give her a bit of red here. And where's my black? Black over here. Black pants. And you're all going to laugh at me because of the way she looks over there. Oh, she's not that bad. Oh, let's see, she can have some hair here too, right? Can we give her some hair? There we go. Oh, that's not so bad. I'm liking these. Let's see, our shadows are kind of going this way, aren't they? So I'm going to go back into my darker green color here. This is olive green. Right, olive green. If you're keeping track at home. Here it is, PY129, PG7, and PY110. I don't know why we need 3 in there, but that's what we're working with. Let's see, that one's there. Right, these aren't perfectly anything, but I think that little addition of some darker beside that is really going to help these stand out even more. It's not necessarily like this in our... Whoops. It's not necessarily like that in our reference photo. That's okay. I don't try to follow it super specifically anyways. I think it looks better like that. Look, and now it looks like it's up off the ground a little bit, right? Look at that. That just made all the difference in the world. It really did. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's fantastic. I love it when you try something and it turns out. That looks great. That totally lifted it up off of there. These now have a bit of a shadow on them. They look better. Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm totally stoked. And having said stoked, just reminded me that maybe I've been in California too long. Now I'm going to put some color over here. Oh, let's see. If I turn it that way, you can see it up here. Yeah, a little shadow area from there. Looks fantastic. Let's see. What do we... Let's see. I'm trying to look back. Let's see. Uncle 60 hates Vicks Vapo Rub. Me too. Tracy, you want to start doing more landscape art? Do it. Do it. I want to see some. Sasha, you don't know watercolors, you try by learning oil colors. You have some boxes of hard watercolors, which are the same, just a little dried out, and watercolor papers from 1980s. Wow. Hey, give it a try. You never know. Something might work out really well for you. If nothing else, try it out. Have some fun with it. Right? I think we all can get behind that. It's not always about creating a masterpiece in any sense of the word. It's about enjoying the process and being comfortable with whatever you come up with. Sometimes what we come up with isn't like we had in our mind going into it, and that's totally fine. Sometimes it is, and when it does turn out like that, so much the better, because that really makes it worthwhile. But so much of the time, that journey of getting to something is just as much fun. So I would encourage you to get out and give it a try and enjoy it. Somebody says it's starting to look nice. Who said it's starting to look nice? Tracy, thank you. It's starting to come to life. Thank you. Get some colors over here. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I need something over here. This is a nice little meadow area here that just wanders back. I like this because we've got a couple of lines that send your eye this way, and we got a couple of lines that send your eye this way. And I don't know, I feel like there's a little tension in there. And then we've got this big band that draws your eye. Your eye just kind of bounces across here. I kind of, you know what I want to do? I want to shoot. Where am I at? I'm an hour and a half, and I'm about to start another something going on here. Okay, let's see. If I were to, come on, get a little bit more. Come on, Michael. Come on. If I were to make this a little darker in here, how would this end up looking? Right, if this were a little bolder in here, could I start to give this even more depth? Just trying to think about how I could do this. What would really pull this together? I don't know. I was trying to think as I saw this picture, and I like the picture, but I am a little jaded because, well, you know, I live here and I like a lot of the stuff that we have around here. You know, it's a beautiful place to live. I'm lucky enough to, like I said, have been here for close to 20 years, and I very much enjoy it here. But when I see a picture of the coastline, do I just like it because of the familiarity of it all, or is there something about it that is just as nice? So I tried to think about this compositionally, if that's a word. And I was looking at where the lines come from and go to, and are things right on here? Where might I need to adjust some sight lines and whatnot? And I never got all that far with it because I just thought it was a nice pastoral painting, and sometimes that's all you need. And quite honestly, if it makes you excited to paint it, or if you like that, then that should be enough. Let's see, I'm gonna give a little bit more grass up here. That can spill down, that's okay. I actually let's see, I'm gonna turn this over for a second. Sasha, Tracy, anybody else here who's new? I'm not a... Was that a happy accident? Most of my stuff are happy accidents, you know. I'm not a trained watercolor artist, meaning I didn't actually have any schooling for any watercoloriness that I do. I just started picking it up and had an immediate love of the medium and tried to learn a few things here and there. One of the things that you could say I learned or I didn't learn, however you want to look at it, is to paint in one orientation. So I do turn my paper quite a lot. I try not to apologize for that too much because stuff happens, right? Lots of times it's easier to paint in one direction than in another, and I don't think I should make that a limitation of how I do my paintings. So am I off the screen again? No, I'm just on. So there's that. Let's see. Tracy said about enjoying the process. There it is. Maybe, let's see, Susie says, maybe some individual blades of grass in the foreground. Blades of grass in the foreground. Actually, I'm actually really kind of liking where this is at right now, to tell you the truth. I do feel like I should do one small thing, which is, did I get the right blue? I hope I got the right blue. Which is to just mark out a few shadow lines here. Well, I don't think they have to be too precise. But given the way the shadow helped over here, I think it could really help over here too. So we'll just drop in a few shadow lines. Maybe there's something else that comes out over here. It'll help anchor this to the ground a little bit too. And so now I'm looking at it and I'm going, uh-oh, did I make it too busy back here? It was nice and it was this pastoral thing, and now I've got all these other colors on there. I don't know. I'm always looking up here to see and down here to see. I think I'm okay. All right. Now, if I'm going to put some grass, it's going to be down here. Let's see. Uncle 60. Was that a happy accident? What was a happy accident? Uncle 60? The answer is probably, but I'm not sure exactly what we're talking about here. I have lots of accidents. Most of them happy. Natalie, you're mostly self-taught. You watch a lot of YouTube videos. That's self-taught. That's totally self-taught. Okay, let's see. Grass. Do I want to do this? It's my favorite way to make grass. Okay. All right, be brave. Be brave. Uncle 60, you struggled to learn watercolors. Join the club, I do too. Some grasses here. And now, give me a little bit of that color along the bottom. Actually, I could do it this way. Pull it out, and maybe I can do. Let's see if I can do another little clump up Well, let me do this. Let me make sure I don't have a hard edge anywhere. It's a little bit of grass. You know what I want to do? I want to intermix a little different color in here with some of this grass. Just, it doesn't need to be all the same color. Maybe there's some brighter flecks in here. And let's do a little bit right in this spot. See if I can do it. No. Give me the fan brush. This is the best use of the fan brush. Little bits of grass, little bits of grass. Little bits. I don't know that I'm getting quite enough on here to affect too much. Maybe this is right in style with it though, you know? It's not too much to overpower anything. The rest of this is pretty subdued, you know, a bit mellow. And if I got too crazy with color or made these grasses too big, it might, oh, that's not good. It might overpower the whole thing. How can there be that much paint? We can pull that off. Pull it off. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just adds a little bit more texture to it. I think I'm gonna... That's too much. Just a little bit more. You guys can't even see it. Okay. All right. All right. I need to stop. Oh, you know what I need to do? Okay. So this is something I need to do. How am I going to do this? You know what? Let's do it this way. Oh, this will tell you how brave I'm gonna be right here. Oh, you watch Shibasaki. I love Shibasaki. Uncle 60, he's fantastic. He's like the grandpa of Japanese watercolors. He's wonderful. Okay. Whew. Be bold, be brave. Whew. Liza, you should have known I would have a fan brush. Of course I got a fan brush. I got all kinds of stuff. Let's see. Ooh, one sweep. Quick. Maybe. Come on. Quick. Let's see, I know there's a rope. I don't need a rope back there. I need to finish this one. Okay, a couple ropes. I don't want to overdo it because it's white, and white can get so strong so quickly. And I'm afraid that if I... Whoops. What I need to do is get a smaller, tiny little brush here. I just went to paint a highlight on her arm and repainted her whole arm. That wasn't very good. Hey, Michael, do you ever scratch your painting while you make an effect? I haven't in a long time because I never got good at it. But, and Liza's going to jump out of her chair. I do have this cool tool to do that with. It's just a little blade on this end. And I've got this little hook on this end that I can scratch with. I keep this one covered up because I've stabbed myself with it a few times. I've also got a little knife from like a child's science kit. And I used to have, oh, I do. There it is. A small palette knife, just in case I decide one of these is going to be better than another. And the palette knife, I can go this way and make a fine line, or I can go this way, you know, against it that way and make a bit of a thicker line. I always keep these handy because I think I'm going to do a good job with it, and I never do. I've never gotten the art of scraping the paint off so much. I have from time to time, if I want to make a line and have it darker than everything else, I've done it while it's wet and put a line on with this, and the paint will run into it and make a little bit of a darker line. But that's it. I don't do it too much. I do mostly just what you see here, which is just some general painting, a little line work, whatnot. I am now going to just do some final little touches on my shoreline so we can all see where the shoreline is at. Here, 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 here. I think I've shown a little restraint in the water. I try not to overdo the water. I didn't want it to be bright white, so I don't know if you can see it, but there are still, yeah, it's hard to see it. There are still bits of white in the water. Then there's that thin coat of light blue, and then there's some of that little bit of darker blue on top of that. Whew. Okay, I'm going to, Liza, you're jumping. No toenail tools. The ruler for the brudge or palette, a knife to scratch. Yep. Oh, and Natalie, you have a clay tool like that you use. Happy accident was the bottom when you added the dark green. Oh, yeah, down here. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you could call it a happy accident. Why not? I'm going to sign it. That's going to signify I'm done, but of course I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about a few things that I think went well and didn't go well. I think the posts here look fantastic. They look dimensional. They were super easy to do, right? You saw it took almost no time. I love using the flat brush. Flat brush is a brush that doesn't get its due so many times, and it does so many wonderful things. So I love that. I actually like my boardwalk here. I think this boardwalk turned out great. Let me get it over here so you can see it. Actually, maybe I should just pick this up a little bit. I think the boardwalk looks great over here. It starts, because this is so big and this comes in at an angle, it pushes your eye up here, right? Love the coastline here. I think the rocks turned out okay. As I'm looking at them here, maybe not quite as much up on the screen. They've got some darkness and some shadow to them. They look round. They don't look like just brown blobs there. I like the way this looks. These grasses look in here. The color comes in. It's a little bluer and a little colder here, and it gets warmer and darker and lighter and darker. So you can almost see it undulating a little bit, or the grass is leaning one way or the other. So it gives it a bit of movement as it comes through here. right? I like that. Things I'm not so wild about. I got a little heavy-handed here with my trees back here to start with. And a little repair job here and here to try to make the break between this clump and that clump, between that clump and that clump of trees, between that one and that one. I think if I'd have just taken a breath before I did that, I could have had it darker here and lighter here, darker here and lighter here, darker here and lighter here, and made them more stacked together. Boom, 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 boom. And not have to come back and try to force the color on there. To me, that's the biggest detractor on here. I like this little mound here on the side. I think that adds a little bit of interest to it. And the only thing I don't like, you guys can't really see it, is I have a pencil line on my hills back there. So much of the time here, we can't see the mountains clearly because there's a little bit of fog or a little bit of haze over top of them. And to me, when I look at this, that's kind of what that looks like. So I kind of like that. All in all, I think it's a nice little painting. I had a great time painting it. Yeah, Natalie, you love how the mountains fade into the distance. Yeah, thank you. And Tracy, you think it turned out awesome, especially the coastline over here, this stuff. I'll have to go out and put a camera in all my gear. I'll go out and do some plein air painting, and I'll take all you guys out there with me, or I'll record it and give it to you guys later. Because the coastline is like this all the way up. It's actually stunningly beautiful. I love to go out and take hikes along the beach and whatnot, or along the shoreway anyways, up here. So maybe I'll get to do that as it's getting a little warmer and we're having some sunnier and some sunnier and warmer weekends. I can get out and do a little bit of that. Oh, okay, deep breath. I've got a big list of things that you guys have made suggestions for me to do. Let's see, scratching is best to do when it's semi-wet. Once it dries, it's too late. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I want to thank everybody for joining me. I don't know if I can get everybody in here. And I know there are probably some people who didn't contribute to the chat, but thank you. Also, Liza, Uncle, 60, Natalie, Tracy, Mary Ellen, Sudike, Susie. Who else is in here? I know there's got to be more. Sherry, Susie. Did I say Susie? I don't know. Tracy. I said Tracy. Sasha, Tracy and Sasha, thanks for coming the first time. I hope that you guys will stop back again. Oh, before I go, next weekend is Flamingo Week. Natalie, you're on it. If you want to join my Discord, link down below. We're having a challenge every month. At the end of the month, I'm going to do my version for the challenge here on Wednesday night. This month, it's Flamingo. So if you want to do a flamingo and put it on the Discord channel, let everybody see it, that'd be great. I will be doing mine next week. And then I have to decide what to do for the following month for April. That'll be fun. Anyways, thank you all for, Patty, Patty, thank you for joining us. I hope you had a great time. I hope you'll come back next week. Until next week, I hope you have a great rest of your evening today, tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will see you again next Wednesday, 7 o'clock Pacific time, whatever time that is in the time zone you live in. I hope you're able to make it. Until then, thank you so much. Bye-bye.